scoot this little stool. That was intentional. How's everyone doing? My name is Sebastian Littlefield. A little bit about me. I have schizophrenia. Thank you all for laughing. I actually really like that joke because if somebody approaches me after and they're like, "Hey man, I have schizophrenia," and I didn't like what you said up there, I can just be like, "I didn't say that." They'd be like, "You're probably right." So, as many things as I don't have going for me, one of those things is my intelligence. I haven't had a great rap sheet for that. I remember when I was in school, I didn't really pay attention to any of the classes. The only part I really liked was lunch, but that's because I could go smoke weed. I remember being in my counselor's office before junior year, and he was asking me if I wanted to take Spanish 1 for the 3rd time in a row. So I looked at him and I said, "What's the Spanish word for no?" He never told me. Anybody here by chance, do you know the Spanish word for no?
No.
I'll get it one day. Yeah, when my parents threatened to kick me out, I genuinely looked at them and I said, "Okay, give me my 30-day notice." Yeah, they thought that was real hilarious. I did not. Yeah, not the smartest kid. I remember when I was sitting in a park smoking weed, I saw a cop pull in to the parking lot. And I'm like, "I got this." Put my stuff away slyly, and he's not going to believe I'm just sitting here, like, enjoying the weather, right? So I light up a cigarette. And so he approaches me, and he says, "Hey, how old are you?" I say, 16. He says, "You're not old enough to be smoking those. Also," and he points out a sign that says, "No smoking. You can't smoke next to playgrounds." And so I'm kind of like freaking out because my plan is totally backfired in my face, and I'm sitting there trying to think of like something to say, and I'm like, "Officer, I thought that sign was for kids." And he kind of gives me this like incredulous look. He's like, "You are a kid." Didn't really think that one through. I'm bisexual, which means that I need to buy things for people to become sexual towards me. Yeah, I was born this way, didn't choose it. No, but I actually am bisexual, and I feel like sometimes I just don't feel like I fit into the LGBTQ community, you know? Like, whenever I try to participate, I don't feel like I really count. You know what I mean? It's kind of like being a bisexual in that community to them is like losing a foot and joining the Paralympics. It's like you can participate, but no one's really going to be rooting for you. You know what I mean? I like investing my money because if I put $200 in the Apple stock, Apple's probably not going to spend that money on weed or Magic the Gathering cards. And it's great because if I ever get into a conversation with someone that I don't want to talk to, I can just start talking about my favorite cryptocurrency and annoy every person within a 20-foot radius to leave me alone. It's wonderful. It's kind of a double-edged sword, though, because sometimes someone will mention it, and I genuinely can't help myself from talking about it. It's one of those weird things where you like obsess over it, and then someone's like, "Oh yeah, I was thinking about investing into Bitcoin," and I'm like trying to hold myself back. I'm like, "Bitcoin? Did you know that Ethereum is actually better than Bitcoin? Here's 100 reasons why." In the back of my head, I'm like, "No, stop!" But I can't stop myself. And that person's like, slowly, I can like see behind their eyes, like, "Oh, great. Oh, look, that's my Fitbit. I gotta run." Yeah. What else? Okay. I keep meaning to look up ways to deal with chronic masturbation. Anybody relate to that? But every single time that I go onto my Google Chrome, I see the bookmark for Pornhub, and I'm like, well, I'm already here. And then by the time I'm done, I mean, I'm still, I have it open, but the last thing I want to do is remind myself of the sins I just committed, so tuck that shit away. I'll deal with it later. All right. So I see a lot of crazy things in the city. I think that when you just cram a bunch of people together, they start losing their minds or their sense of rationality. I DoorDash for a living, and Uber Eats, just the general delivery gig, and sometimes you get weird instructions. Like one time, recently, I saw an instruction that said, leave it in the lobby, ignore the one-way sign. I don't think that person had the authority to tell me to ignore the one-way sign. Like, didn't really make any sense, and I started thinking about it, I was like, maybe it wasn't that. Maybe, like, the one-way sign is just, like, super mean, right? Like, I drive by it, it's like, hey, you're never going to amount to anything, right? I'm like, it's a mean sign. Should have ignored it. Like the man said. Yeah, crazy stuff, man. One time I walked into a bathroom at one of the places I was picking up an order from, and it was one of those bathrooms that's clearly meant for one person. But when I opened this, that person was already in there using the urinal. And I'm like, oh, whoa, sorry, man, and I, step back. And the person's like, oh, no, it's okay. I'm just using the urinal. I can see that. I really wish I couldn't. I really wish that you had seen the little button on the fucking handle that prevents me from seeing you using the urinal here, but here we are. But he doesn't stop there. The door's continuing to close slowly, it's one of those pressure doors or whatever. And he says, you can come on in and use the toilet. This is not a social event, sir. You can't just invite me in to come use the toilet. I just left. I didn't go to the bathroom. I was like, I'm pretty sure that person is going to touch me. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Last little thing about door dashing. You meet a lot of people, and some people are not very nice. Like, that guy was overly nice, I might say. This next person, no. I was picking up an order from Raising Cane's, and I was getting back into my car, open the door, start the car, and as I'm backing away, this girl is she's talking to her boyfriend through the window of her car or whatever, this Asian lady. She looks at me. She's like, a little heads up would have been nice as I'm pulling out. Realign myself forward. I'm like, a little heads up, the sound of my car fucking starting, or me turning on, or rolling down my windows, getting into reverse, were those not enough warning signs for you? Me opening my car door and entering? But I didn't say any of that because I'm not that quick and witty, so I just kind of smiled and I gave her another sarcastic, you're welcome, right back at her. Yeah, but her boyfriend kind of gave me that look, kind of like that. He was smiling, so I kind of had a moment with him, kind of a connection where he's like, yeah, I know, my girlfriend's crazy, man. I'm like, at least he understands, at least I don't feel crazy in the situation. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night.